Today we'll be walking through some of the ways to use 3D engraving and AI in tandem to create beautiful laser engraved projects with true depth to the engraving. While our laser systems have had 3D engraving capabilities for many years, AI software has made creating these graphics easier than ever before. Basically, the way it works, when engraving a 2D graphic, such as a logo or photo, the laser is creating different darknesses based on the dot density of the pattern. In 3D mode, the laser system automatically adjusts the speed and the power of the laser based on the grayscale gradients within the image to create different depths to the engraving. This process can create really stunning effects for your laser projects. The drawback has been that the graphics typically take a long time to design the right grayscale for each part of the graphic. But AI software can make this much easier by automatically creating these graphics with the correct gradient effects. We'll walk through the step-by-step process to use popular AI design software to help you design final projects that are profitable for your business. We'll show you the benefits and challenges of using these free designs and how you can use them to create beautiful and profitable projects to the laser. Through our tests, we found that AI designs are not a magic button. You're still going to need to work to find the right graphic to use on the laser, and there will be some work to make them incorporate well into your projects. But we'll cover some of the tips and tricks we've discovered while playing with these software packages. For our first design, we're going to engrave a 3D flower design on a wooden coaster. So we tested a number of AI design softwares and found our favorite to be Copilot by Microsoft. It uses DALL-E 3 to generate its images, and while DALL-E 3 is a great software, it currently requires a paid membership to ChatGPT Plus to use it. This is a free way to get some of those same benefits. Let's start by doing our search. We'll type in what we want to look for. So design a 3D bas relief background of flowers in grayscale. Now, bas relief basically means it's low relief, and that's when it's creating that perception of the full 3D image within the graphic. Most important thing here is that you say 3D, bas relief, and grayscale along with your description. You can be as specific as you want. We're just going to test this out first and see what we come up with. So Copilot's going to try to create that for us, and it'll just take a minute to come up with the designs. Now you'll notice one of the drawbacks here is that everything is a square. Some of the AI softwares will actually let you choose the dimensions of your graphic, but not all of them will. It seems to be varying in its effect of how good the quality is on those graphics. Sometimes it kind of stretches them out. Most of what you're going to find are these square designs. So you've really got to be creative in how you use them. Coaster is a great way to use it because we can just cut out the center of that design. So we've got 4 different images here, and they all have some interesting characteristics to them. Definitely some interesting petal work on this one, some larger front-facing flowers here. Based on that area I'm going to engrave, we're going to choose this one out of the 4. So I'm just going to click on it. And you can see here that 3D bas relief. It's creating that false 3D image right in the graphic. Creates a really nice graphic for you. So I'll go ahead and save that by right-clicking, save image as, and I will just save it as flower background. Click save. So we're ready to set up our file. We're going to use Illustrator here, but you can really use any graphic software. We're going to start by bringing in our graphic and placing that flower background. Once we have this in here, we're ready to start setting up our graphic. I'm going to start by drawing that circle, the shape of the coaster. And I'm going to make it a little bit larger than the actual coaster at 4.1 inches. This is because I found that a lot of these coasters aren't completely consistent in size around this, so this will allow the engraving to go all the way over the edge of it. Now I'm going to select the circle, the background graphic, and I'll go to Object, Clipping Mask, Make, and this is going to put it inside that circle. I can go in and click Edit Contents. It's going to let me edit that graphic inside the circle. So I can resize it here. And I can take a look on screen and see what it's actually going to look like when I engrave it. Um, how large are the flowers I want? Maybe I want a larger one in the center here, so I can move them around, kind of going for that look of, get a little bit of the smaller images in there too. So when I'm happy with it, then I can just go to my selection tool and just move it so it's on the page completely. Now I'm ready to print. So go to File, Print. I have the Epilog Engraver chosen as my, selected as my printer. And I'll change the size to Custom and Print. Now that we're in the laser dashboard, I can just drag that image over using the camera, make sure it goes over the edges of the coaster. Makes placement really easy. I'm going to come over here and set up my settings at 20% speed, 100% power, 500 dpi, bottom up engraving. Most importantly, I'll go to the advanced tab and I'll choose 3D mode. So I can actually export these settings. So I'm going to go ahead and set up a wood in 3D engraving setting. This way I can pull this up automatically every time I want to do 3D engravings on wood. And I'll print it to the laser. So back in Copilot, we're ready for our next design. We're going to pull up a graphic of a dinosaur and find a good way to use this. One way that we could is actually on a sign for a child's bedroom door. So what we'll do is we'll start with just doing our search for a 3D bas relief, grayscale graphic of a dinosaur with a white background. So it's going to do that search. We can see graphics to choose from. So I'm going to pick this one. Looks good. So I'll right click, save the image as, and just save that as dinosaur. And we're good to go. Now you can use any graphic software you want. Here we're using CorelDRAW, which is very popular for the laser. So I'll go ahead and I will import my graphic. Right away you can see one of the issues with some of these designs that are automatically created for us. It has a really nice border, 3/4 of the way around it. This side is all cut off. So it's not going to be really usable in its current format. So I'll choose my shape tool. I'm just going to pull that in to part of the border that's usable. Right around there. And I'll do that all the way around the graphic so we've got a nice even border now. There's a little shadow down at the bottom, so I'm just going to pull that up a little bit. Same with this other side. Okay, now I've taken care of that problem. I'm just going to resize it down. Okay, that looks good. So for our next step, what I want to do is make this more unique. I want to make it so it's customized to the customer. So what I'm thinking I can do with this is, as a sign for a child's bedroom door, it could be a fun look if we could add a child's name to it. So let's go ahead and try that next. So I'll do another search for create a 3D bas relief grayscale graphic of the name Braden. And I'm going to add with a white background as well and see if that turns out anything. Seems a little hit and miss. It's trying to create a graphic with no background, but we can see what we can get here. Okay, not exactly what I was looking for, but I think there's something I can work with here. I will. You can see we didn't get a big white background. Lots of other things around it though. But I think this bottom left corner one will work out for what I'm looking for. Go ahead and click on that graphic. And I'll save that down to the computer. Now I need to isolate the letters. So we're going to use the Bezier tool. This is basically going to let us draw a shape around each of the letters. So go ahead and do this on the first one with the B. What you're going to do is click and drag around a curve, or you can just click for a straight line. Now remember, this can all be cleaned up later. It doesn't need to be perfect. And it's a nice thing about working with wood. It's a little bit more forgiving around the edges of what you're going to be engraving. You can get very good at this just by practicing a little bit. I'm going to click and drag so my curve just matches up every time. Once I've done that, I'm going to go to my selection tool. And with the outline selected, I'm going to shift and select the outer area as well. I'm going to do intersect, which is going to create an object from the overlapping area. Now I'll click that outline to delete it. You can see here my B has been selected. So I'm going to undo that. And back in here, I'm going to remove the center portion. So I'm going to use that Bezier tool again. A little bit off there. So I'll fix that in just a moment. So I'll use the selection tool. I'll just drag that in a little bit and adjust my curve. Once I'm happy with that, then I'll select the B again with the Shift key. This time I'm going to click Simplify to trim the overlapping area. Delete that outline. If I pull this out, you can see we've got a hole there. Okay, we're going to continue to do that all the way around the graphic. Okay, so now we've got our text. I'm just going to take that and drag it on top of the graphic. And I can resize it however I like. I'll take that basically from edge to edge on the graphic. I'll move that up a little bit so it overlaps. Now I can see that I've got two different grayscales really in this, so I'm going to select the entire graphic, click bitmap, convert to bitmap, and choose grayscale. So now we're going to have a consistent grayscale throughout our graphic. Finally, I'm going to add a border around the entire piece that we're going to cut out. And I'll go ahead and center that within the border. Finally, I'm going to click these points and give it a little curve to the edges. And I'll print that to the laser. We found a 3D graphic we like here. This was also using Copilot of a skateboarder. We're going to actually be engraving this on a skateboard. So we need to make this into a landscape kind of shape, which can be a little difficult when working with squares. I'm going to show you a couple little tips and tricks here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that outer area. So that's pretty easy to do with the Bezier tool. So I'm going to click around it. On the A, I'm actually going to let that come outside of the graphic a little bit to create a really cool 3D effect here. And I'll just continue all the way around. Okay, now we're just going to select the outer graphic, right click on it, and select Power Clip Inside. This is the same as doing that clipping mask idea. And now I'm going to edit the power clip. Now we've gone into the power clip, we're going to go in and select the graphic, select bitmap, convert to bitmap, and change that to grayscale, just to get rid of any of those color effects. Then we'll right click to finish editing power clip. And I'll turn off that outline of the box that I created. Now I can place this on screen. I'm just going to resize that down to the size I want. And clicking P was actually going to center that to the page in CorelDRAW. Since we're going to be engraving an entire skateboard here, we need something that's more landscape and design. So what I like to do is add an American flag behind it. I think this is going to work really well, because as I showed before, a lot of the flag designs we come up with don't really look like flags. It was really difficult to find anything that was a great design for that, but I think I found one that's going to work. I'll go back to my downloads. Import my graphic. I think this one's going to work out pretty well. So I'm going to put this one right over here. And I'll move that to the back of the page. So the next thing I need to figure out is these stars, how I'm going to work with them. So to try to fix these misshapen stars that came in, first thing I'm going to do is take this down to about 9.5 inches across. Put that right there. And I'll go ahead and use that power clip again into the space I want so I can see what I'm working with. And I'll send that to the back of the page. Okay, that's getting pretty cool. So I'm going to take care of these stars next. I'm going to replace them actually, so I'll grab the Bezier tool, and then I'm going to click and drag around the area where the stars are. And this is a pretty easy design to draw around, so that makes it nice and quick. So we'll go all the way around the image. Once I've got my shape set up, I'm going to go ahead and give it a fill. So I'm going to do a gradient fill to give it more of a 3D effect. Change the black to more of a dark gray. And I don't want to go completely to white, so I'll adjust that as well. And actually, I'm going to reverse these colors, I think. Okay, I'm liking that a lot better. Now I can click in here and change my angle as well. So I think that looks good. Turn off the outline there as well. Now I'm going to bring in my fixed star. This one we found in Copilot as well. So we're going to fix this by getting rid of that outline. I'm just going to go ahead and come in here, simplify the star a little bit by clicking all the way around, and then I'll just power clip again to create a clipping mask around this area that I'm drawing. And these should be some pretty cool little 3D stars that we're designing here. So I'll go ahead and resize that down and place that. You can spend a lot of time on this. We're just going to try to make this look as quick and easy as possible. It'll be a great design without spending a lot of time on it. So I'm going to go ahead and get that where I want. And then I'll just duplicate that throughout the area. I like these a little bit smaller as we go to the right so that we can continue that 3D look to it, give it more of a dimensional effect. Okay, I'm just going to select all the stars and I'll duplicate those. Until I filled up that whole area. And I'll actually go ahead and add a couple little stars spaced out here a little bit, that empty space. So finally, I'm going to grab all these stars and I'll convert those to a bitmap. And I'll power clip those inside that shape I've created before. So now you can see it fits in there really nicely now. We've got non-misshapen stars that we can engrave. So I'm going to grab that whole section of graphic of the flag. And I'll move that to back a layer. I'm going to copy and paste that. And we'll move it right over here so it lines up on the other side. I'll mirror that horizontally. And I'll send that to the back of the layer. And now you can see we've got a really good horizontal design here with just a few little tricks worked in. I want to make this stand out a little bit more on the skateboarder, so I'm going to go ahead and draw a box around him. I'll make that white. And I'll send that back one. So it's behind the skateboarder. So now that's going to pop a little bit against those background 3D engravings. So we'll go ahead and print it into the dashboard. And I'm going to set this up at 600 DPI, 30% speed, 100% power. And of course, I'll come in and choose 3D engraving again. And I'll print that to the laser. So today we covered just a few of the ways to use a combination of AI and 3D with your Epilog Laser system. Whether you're filling a space, finding an interesting way to incorporate designs into a sellable product, or combining square designs to fill a larger area like we did on that skateboard, there's many ways you can use these designs. As we found through our testing, AI is not a foolproof solution to 3D design. It still helped us create some really stunning projects today. So let us know in the comments how you've been using 3D and AI with your laser system, and share any tips and tricks you have. Be sure to follow us.